Hey, what is up guys? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'll be showing you how I built my PC. I hope the quality of the video isn't too bad. I don't have a good camera, so I just use my phone. Hope it's okay. But yeah, I made the switch from console to PC, so let's go through the process of building it from the perspective of a console guy. I hope you enjoy. So the first thing I wanted to unbox was the CPU. I got a 3700X, which is, it's pretty good. However, when I opened up the box, there was nothing inside. No CPU at all. But I just moved on anyway. I thought it's fine, I'll contact the company later and see what they can do. But for now, I'll open up the motherboard and try to fix everything else in. So I got a B550 ROG Strix motherboard. It's pretty good and it's quite recent, so I can still upgrade stuff on it for a few years to come at least. So whilst I took everything out and got it all set up, there was something different about this motherboard, because as it turns out, when I removed the plastic, the CPU was already installed. So the company decided to do it for me, which is very nice of them. I appreciate it, because knowing me, I probably would have messed it up and my PC would have blown up or something. But I did kind of want to do it myself just because it's part of the experience, but it's absolutely fine. So thanks to the company for doing that. It's great, you know, it's nice. Thank you. So next up, I closed the box, and I was told that you're supposed to close the box and then do all your motherboard stuff on top of it. I don't know if that's like a custom, if that's just good to do, I don't really know, but I followed the advice because I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm just being straight to the point on the book, just following it like a little nerd. The manual is the most important part of any build. Use it, look at it at all times. However, I had my friend on Discord help me build it, so I didn't really need it. I bought 32 gigabytes of RAM. 32 is a little overkill, you don't really need it. 16 gigabytes is more than enough, even for someone like myself who's going to get a second monitor, edit on one screen, play games on the other, and keep switching back and forth. 16 gigabytes is still fine for that. No game requires more than 16, or even like 8. Installing the RAM was a little more tricky than I thought, because I thought I was putting too much pressure. I wasn't, but I thought I was. If you think you're applying too much pressure, it's better to be on the safe side and take a step back and look at some YouTube videos, look at the manual, rather than doing something you're not comfortable with. But we got there in the end, so we did it. We did it, guys. Next was the M.2. I got a 970 Evo. It's a 500 gigabyte one. I was thinking of going for 1 terabyte. However, I heard that there's going to be like an upgrade on M.2s next year, and they're going to be like really good. I'm not too sure, but I wanted to wait anyway and switch over to something a bit better next year, or maybe the year after. But honestly, the one I have now, it's more than fine. It's really good, to be honest with you. Games load at a crazy high speed. It is insane and far better than the last gen consoles. Not better than the new ones, because the PS5's SSD is supposed to be crazy good, but it's still great. So confession time, this is actually the second time I tried to install the M.2, because when I did it the first time, I noticed there was like a bend in the middle, and I thought, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on PC builds, and Linus never had a bend on his M.2, so I quickly discussed it with my friend on Discord. I looked at some videos and I noticed that there was something that I needed to screw in first, so there was no bend. But we got there in the end. It was absolutely fine. I screwed in the rest of the case and it was done. And now was time to push the motherboard aside and bring out the Kraken, the AIO. Oh yeah. But first I had to unscrew some screws, so I had to put that aside for a little bit. So whilst I'm screwing this in, I'll just let you know about my thought process right now. I was having a really good time building it. It was lots of fun. People have said it's like advanced Lego, which I guess is kind of true. I was having a good time right now, but later on when the cables came out and I had to plug them all in, that part was a nightmare, and I hated every second of it. I almost wanted to just stop building it, return it all, and just stick to my comfy consoles. But you know what, I pulled through, and in the end I did get the build, but man, those cables were a nightmare. So now we're done with that, we can finally bring out the Kraken. Oh yeah. But first I had to put some screws in. Yeah, the Kraken AIO, it's going to take a little bit of time. The screws, by the way, were weird. They looked like they were supposed to be screwed in one side, but they were supposed to actually be screwed in the other side. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We got there in the end. And now we put away the motherboard and bring out the bad boy, the case. It's quite heavy. You need to be careful because the case is going to be much heavier than a console. I took out the top panel, just slid it off. Took out the front mirror, or I guess the side mirror panel. And then I put it on the back, though I did have that little issue because I completely forgot to take out the front panel. And in the midst of me almost breaking something, I decided to just put it back in and not take... Look, I'm thinking take it out. No, I'll put it back in. Oh, it's so weird watching this back because it was just dumb. Just I had space, put it aside. So I brought back the motherboard and then I peeled off the little sticker, which is always satisfying. This is really what I paid for. It was this peeling off of the sticker. So I placed the motherboard inside the case, took out the screws, and I started screwing. So I've switched from my black hoodie to this salmon colored jumper. It's salmon, not pink, with my salmon hat. Not pink hat, it's salmon. Okay, it's not pink. So then I just screwed in the rest of the motherboard and it was all done. So I got the case and put it back on its top, on its front. Just to have a look at everything, make sure it was all in place. I took the case away and then I brought back the Kraken. Yeah, now it's really time to unbox it. So the Kraken comes with 3 like standard fans, and later on I will try to, if I have the time or the money that is, I will change out these fans for the other ones that I've got on my build just so it matches. It's not a big deal, but you know, if I have some spare money sometime next year, maybe the year after, I don't really know when, but I'll probably do it just for aesthetics, I guess. So I placed all the fans in the correct area on the AIO and then I started to screw it in. So next up, I put the cooler itself on the PC. Now, this part is a little bit cringe because you see, you're not supposed to put the cooler on top like that, which is something I knew, but I still did. Like, I've seen tons of videos of this exact cooler being put on PCs, and for some reason, even though it's so obvious that it's not supposed to look like that, I still kept doing it. I don't know, it's so kind of embarrassing to watch, but we all have those moments where our brain just goes bleh, and you don't do something that is so obvious that is the way it's supposed to be done. Am I making sense? I don't know, but we got there in the end and I figured out where it was supposed to go. I know, I'm a genius. And then we just screwed it in all nice and tight and it was done. I removed the plastic covering on the little pump itself, and then I put it in the CPU, which I was kind of hesitant to how much pressure I should put because I didn't want the thermal paste. I wanted the thermal paste, sorry, to make good contact, but I didn't want to obviously put a lot of pressure because something might break. In the end, I just kind of held it there and I let the screws, when I put them in, do most of the work. So it turned out fine that way. Next up, we had the power supply unit. I got a 1000 watt power supply. I was told by a few people that 1000 watts is overkill, and then I was told by some people that 1000 watts is like now the new standard because of all the new tech that's coming out. I opened up the box and I pulled out this little case right here, and once I opened it, there were all these cables, and I decided, forget this build, I'm done. I don't want to do all that. I'm gonna close this up, return everything, and stick to my nice console gaming. No, I didn't do that, obviously, but I'll be real with you. Up until this point, I had a lot of fun building the PC. This last hour or so of cables was so bad, I hated it, and I never want to build a PC again, and I'm so happy that I got a motherboard that will last for quite a while, because it means that I don't need to change all the cables, and you know, I'm just I hate the cables. I don't know, I heard some people enjoy doing the cables. For me, not so much. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna skip all the cable stuff just because it was long, it's boring, and my camera's not good enough, so you don't even see what I'm really doing. Fast forward a little bit, and we're now gonna put in the fans. I got Lee & Lee fans to match the case. They are really cool, they clip on together. They were sold out everywhere. I had to wait like 2 weeks for them to come back in stock so I could buy them. but they're really cool. They save up on cables as well, and I just like the look of them too. We're almost at the end, and it's time for the 870 QVO 2TB SSD. I installed that nice and quickly, and now it's time for the GPU. I bought a 3080, but it hasn't arrived yet, so in the meantime I'm using my friend's 2060, which is great. I make a lot of jokes with my friends that a 2060 is crap, but I'm just joking. Obviously a 2060 is a really good card. It's holding out just fine, and once my 3080 arrives I can sell it back and I'll make the money that I had before, if that makes sense. But anyway, here's the build. Here's the final build, kind of, not really, because I still have to turn stuff on. The panels aren't in, or the fans aren't in, but my friend said that it's bad luck to build the PC and then turn it on. You're supposed to do this, and then after everything works, then put the panels in and stuff, which I don't think that's anything to do with luck personally. I think that just makes a bit more sense, because you don't know if something's gonna, yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I'm not very good at talking without a script, but I just put everything there. As soon as it was able to start working, I plugged it in, turned it on. It took a few minutes. I did the whole setup. We're gonna fast forward, and this was the final build. So in the end, I'm really happy with the build. I think it looks great, it runs great, and even though it's not entirely done, as I'm still waiting for my 3080 to arrive and I really want to switch out the cables for something a little nicer, I still am in love with it. Originally I was supposed to have the PC on the floor, as my desk is quite small, but I just like the look of it so much that I still keep it on my desk anyway. I've had it for just over a month now, and even though I can't give a real review of my experience at the moment, considering all my parts haven't arrived yet and I need to buy a second monitor too, so far I've been having a great time. I like the openness of the platform, I like the adjustability of everything, I like how if I'm willing to put extra money in, I can have a non-compromised experience. I like how I can change my AIO screen to be a dancing Pikachu. I like how I can play stuff in the background whilst I game, like podcasts, music, and YouTube videos. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I game, I like to listen to Lo-Fi by Wavy Whale. He's a pretty cool guy, makes good lo-fi, sucks at Rocket League, but his lo-fi is on point. Now that being said, the platform isn't perfect. Setting everything up was a real drag. I've encountered more cheaters and hackers in this 1 month than the entirety of the last console generation, excluding crossplay games obviously. I don't like having to download many launchers and having my games on all these different platforms. I miss achievement or trophy hunting. Letting go of my gamer score really hurt, and there's a few more things that I'm still adjusting to. I made a video previously on my personal concerns of switching from console to PC gaming before I did it, and in that video I was called a console fanboy, which is like the de facto statement to go to when someone says something you don't agree with, because who could even fathom someone having a different opinion to yours? But even though I had concerns, I don't regret building it because I'm just in love with this machine. Now, once I've spent more time with the system, I'll probably make a more in-depth follow-up video, but until then, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.